All right, these are simple interest problems, and what simple interest represents is it's an interest based on only the principal. There's no compounding going on here. So all these are is basic formula problems. You're going to take the numbers that are given and you're going to plug them in the formula. And the formula is right up here. It's interest equals PRT. P stands for the principal, so this is how much is being invested. R is the simple interest rate, and it's going to be an APR, an annual interest rate, which is why this is in terms of years, because this is an annual rate, we need years. Alright, so we have interest equals PRT. Alright, and the principal, you can just go through and mark them. This is P, this is T because it's time, and this is R. And your rate needs to be in decimal form, because percents are references of what the actual number is. So, principal is 5,000, the rate is 0.05, and then the time is 1. And then you just take your calculator, plug all that in. 5,000 times 0.05, and I'm not going to put in 1 because it won't change anything. 250. That's the interest. That's a simple interest. So if $5,000 was put into a loan or an account for 5%, for 1 year, it'd be 250. And for most rates, you can actually treat these as APYs, annual percentage yields, and it would work the same way as a simple interest for 1 year. Okay. So let me have you try one. Find the interest for a $2,000 for borrowed for 7 years at 6%. You just have to plug it in. So hit pause, plug it in, try it. All right, and you should have gotten $840. So if you have $2,000, 6% for 7 years, then you're going to owe $840. All right, what's the maturity value of the loan? What this means is you're going to have to pay back the loan, which is how much is borrowed, plus the simple interest. So you just add them together. 2,000 plus 840 means you'd have to pay back $2,840 after 7 years. So let's just say you take out a student loan. They're going to charge you 6%, and you use it for 7 years. You'd have to give them back $2,840 at the end of those 8 years. That's it. Alright, what if you don't borrow for an entire year? Well, if you don't borrow for a year, then you have to pay a fraction of a year. So the time turns into the fraction of a year. So if you have days, 39 days would just be 39 out of 365. We're not going to do any reducing because you're just going to plug this into a calculator. 5 months would be 5 out of 12 because there's 12 months in a year. If you did weeks, then it would be out of 52 because there's 52 weeks in a year, almost. It's actually a little more. Alright, so what fraction of the year is 40 days? Right, that'd be 40 out of 365. And what fraction of a year is 3 months? Well, that would be 3 out of 12. And that's it. So you're going to have portions of a year, and so for the time you want to put this. So here's an example. How much simple interest is owed on $5,000 if borrowed for 5 months at 5%? So our principal, our rate, and then our time. Principal is 5,000. The rate is 0.05, but the time now is not 5, it's 5 out of 12 because it's months. And how you enter this in your calculator is just 5,000 times 0.05 divided by 12 times 5. I forgot the 5. Let's try that again. So it's 5,000 times 0.05 times 5 divided by 12. It doesn't matter the order, you just have to divide by 12. So it's 1,004 and 17. Sorry, 104.17 cents. And yes, they want that full penny after that, so you must round. So it's $104.17. That's the simple interest owed. So let me have you try one yourself. So find the simple interest and find the maturity value for this loan. So let's just say you take out a loan of $3,500, but you'll need it for 90 days at 5%. What would the maturity value be? Hit pause, give it a shot. Alright, so you should have had $43.15. And the time, you should have used 90 out of 365 because there's 365 days in a year. And then the maturity value is just the principal, which is $3,500, plus the amount of interest, which would give you $3,543.15. And that is simple interest. Thank you.